Hello and welcome to Football League World TV's Under the Microscope. My name's Ned Holmes and I'm joined by Chris Thorpe and Matt Dawson to preview the Carabao Cup clash between Arsenal and AFC Wimbledon at the Emirates this evening. Chris, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. Just looking forward to the game. Just can't wait for it to get started now, really.
Absolutely. And Matt, your Football League World debut, you're from the sort of wider snack family and a huge Arsenal fan, of course. How are you doing? How are you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, not bad. Slightly nervous. Don't particularly want to lose to lower league opposition, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, please remember to like and subscribe on Football League World TV on YouTube, follow and retweet on Twitter, and like and share on Facebook. But most importantly, make sure you get involved today by sending us a comment. We want to hear your comments, your questions, your predictions, and anything else that you've got to say really about Arsenal, AFC Wimbledon, or the Carabao Cup. And with that, we'll get started, focused on the League One team first of all. Coming to you first, of course, Chris. From the outside, it's looked a hugely impressive start to the season for Wimbledon. I think it's 8 played in League One, 3 wins, 3 draw, 2 losses, 12 points, putting you guys 7th. How would you rate the start to the season that Wimbledon have made?
Yeah, excellent, mate. Been playing some really lovely free-flowing football, but at the same time being such a threat from set pieces is pleasing to see. I feel like set pieces are an area that a lot of teams overlook, and it's certainly not one that we have. I think we've got the most set piece goals in League One still, which is testament to the great work of the coaching staff and, of course, the players as well. So we've got a lot of strings to our bow this season, and I like to think we're going to cause Arsenal a few problems tonight. If we can transfer the league form into the cup, then should be an interesting evening for sure.
Feels like there's been quite a lot of positivity around the club, Chris. You know, the return of fans to Plough Lane, and I guess it's more than results on the pitch that have excited fans. It's been a real shift under Mark Robinson towards a more entertaining style of football in sort of 21-22.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as you quite rightly mentioned, that the stadium's played such a massive role in our sort of form and the feel-good atmosphere, as you said as well. Bringing us fans back after the best part of 30 years to our spiritual home it means so much, like more than words can say. The style of play on the field has definitely helped as well. Mark Robinson's one of us. If you cut him open, he'd bleed blue and yellow, and that's what it's all about. You want a head coach or a manager who knows what this club's about and about the identity, and he's helping these young players and this young team to thrive. So yeah, long may it continue, and I think we're in for a very exciting season.
I guess in some ways, Matt, you could maybe echo some of the things Chris said in terms of having a manager who's one of you guys. Mikel Arteta obviously knows the club really well. There's been a fair bit of doom and gloom about the Gunners in the first month or so of the season, but a big win against Burnley on Saturday. So how would you rate the start that the club's made?
The start of the season was pretty horrendous, really. We obviously spent the most of any club in the Premier League in the transfer window, which got quite a lot of criticism. I thought we brought in some pretty decent players. Obviously, there's going to be that period of adaptation, but the way we lost to Brentford was really bad. To be honest, the way we played, no one really turned up. And then the City and Chelsea games, I didn't expect to take anything from there, but it was probably the manner in which we lost and the defensive displays. But yeah, sort of 2 big wins on the bounce now against Norwich and Burnley. I know they're down the bottom of the table, but especially against a team like Burnley, we've struggled in the last few years. So it was good to come through that and good to get a clean sheet as well.
There's been a fair bit of talk, I think, about the atmosphere at the Emirates. A lot of people saying that the criticism levelled at the fans about getting on the team's back was a little unfair. Do you expect? Do you expect a big home atmosphere tonight in a sort of cup game in which Arsenal should be favourites?
I think the atmosphere tonight will be improved. I think at the league games you've got sort of all of the diehards there, and then for these Carabao Cup games you tend to have more families rock up. So I think the atmosphere could be quite nice. It's not always been that case. I think Arteta was probably quite lucky that last season, we didn't have too many fans there because I think his situation at the club would be even worse. So I think it's going to help in the next few weeks having those supporters back, because I mean the players need that extra drive. We've got a few players in the team, sort of Aubameyang, those types of characters that tend to thrive off of a good atmosphere. So yeah, I think it should help, but as long as the results stay positive.
Brilliant. And we'll shift over to sort of selection then. Staying with you, Matt, I think probably we're likely to see Arteta make a few changes tonight. Do you expect to see a mix of youth and experience, or more youth than experience? And I guess, which young players are you excited to see play tonight?
Yeah, I think we'll see a bit of a mix. I think we're quite fortunate at the moment where we've got pretty much a fully fit squad, so we could turn to quite a few options. I think after the start to the season we've had, we can't afford to go all guns blazing with youth. There'll probably be a few experienced faces in there. The likes of Lacazette will probably play. Leno might come back. I'm dreading to say, but we might see someone like Kolasinac. But I mean, we'll see how he rocks up. But in terms of the young players, I think the one that should hopefully stand out tonight is Martinelli. He's had a few injuries in recent years, and he's not gained too much football this year, but he is someone that Arsenal fans are really, really excited about. And I think he just needs to build fitness now, because his first season at the club was so good. And then he barely played at all last year. So yeah, if he can find form, particularly tonight, he might even play his way into the match day squad at a weekend as well.
Absolutely. And Chris, I guess from Wimbledon's perspective, are you expecting to see Mark Robinson make a lot of changes, or do you think he's going to go with sort of a strong squad given the quality of the opposition?
He said in the press that he, wants to be wary of the players that got us through to this point in the competition. In the past rounds, he's rotated quite a bit, but at the same time, obviously, we've got to appreciate the level of opposition that we're facing tonight. Arsenal, obviously, Premier League side. So I expect a very strong team out from us tonight. We've got Ollie Palmer back and Jack Ridoni, most importantly, as well. Two players who didn't feature against Plymouth at the weekend. So that's two more attacking options to add to the mix. So I sort of see us setting up either with a four at the back, sort of diamond in midfield, or potentially a three at the back, which is something that we utilised against Charlton and Northampton in the earlier rounds. But I think it all depends on, the sort of scouting that we've done on Arsenal prior to the game. I know the staff would have prepared as well as they can. And it's all about utilising our strengths, but also combating the strengths of Arsenal as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what team we put out, but I'm expecting it to be strong.
Absolutely. Well, we've had a couple of comments in already. Dan Robbins via YouTube has predicted a 3-0 Arsenal win. We've also had one from Alex Batt. He's got a question for you, Matt. He said, should Arsenal go full strength throughout the Carabao Cup to try and win a trophy, given that Arsenal won't finish top four and aren't in Europe this season? What are your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting question. I mean, if you look back at the fact that we don't have European football this season, there's not going to be too many opportunities where we can play these young players and actually give them game time that they probably deserve. But yeah, the fact we won't finish in the top four, it'll be nice to get a trophy, obviously. So I think we will take it a little bit more seriously than we have done previously. But as I said before, I think sort of a blend of youth and experience will go down pretty well. I think the main issue really is some of the fringe players that aren't up to scratch. Obviously we can bring in Lacazette, as I said, but it's people like Rob Holding and Cedric and those types of players that tend to worry supporters more than the young players coming through. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see.
In that sense, do you think it would be sort of better received if Arteta were to lean on sort of more of the young players rather than those fringe players that the fans don't really have confidence in? Yeah,
definitely. I think when he first started to play Smith Rowe and Saka last season, I wouldn't go as far as saying it saved his job, but it certainly gave him a lot more time. Those younger players came in and provided the team with energy we hadn't seen. There was a freshness to the team, sort of a renewed vigour. So yeah, I think the supporters just want to see Arsenal have a brighter future. At the moment, it's all doom and gloom, but you see some of these young players come in and perform well, you know, it'll give supporters hope that there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from the outside, it certainly seemed like the breakthrough emergence of the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe really did change the atmosphere a little bit, if not hugely. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a turning point, but it was definitely massive for him. So a couple of brilliant comments there, but please remember to sort of get your questions, predictions and comments in throughout the show. Chris, back to you and Wimbledon then. You know, the Dons have been free scoring this season, but they've conceded a fair few at the back as well. I think they're the second highest conceders in League One, despite being up at 7th. Is that something that concerns you heading into this one, given, as Matt said, you know, you could be coming up against the likes of Martinelli and Lacazette?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, it's something that we're going to improve over time, of course. But I think with the style of play that we have implemented, we're always going to be open. You know, our fullbacks go high. Even our centre-backs advance into the opposing half on some occasions. So you're always going to leave space in behind that can be exploited against teams that have pace, you know, such as Arsenal. So yeah, it's definitely something we've got to be wary of. And I think a lot will depend tonight on us keeping things tight if we really want to, you know, cause a famous upset. I think if we can get to half-time with a clean sheet, that's a really good start. But yeah, no, it's definitely something we need to improve on, and hopefully we'll see some clean sheets over the next few weeks. But yeah, no, definitely, it's definitely an area for concern at the moment.
Matt, you know, given the quality of the attacking players that you're hoping to see evolve for Arsenal today, and the issue, I guess, that the Dons have had at times at the back, you know, could that be a sort of a perfect game for Arteta in the sense that, you know, we could see a lot more attacking opportunities for Arsenal than perhaps we've seen them have in Premier League games this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think as we saw against West Brom in the last round, where Arsenal, I mean, we were pretty much at full strength that game, but we demolished them and we created so many chances. But we've created a lot of chances in the league as well, particularly the last 2 games. We've only come away with 1-0 wins. So it's a case of once we've created those opportunities, scoring. It's not been a great year in terms of taking opportunities to score. So we have to really make sure we take them tonight, because if we don't, and the longer it goes on without potentially scoring, you know, Wimbledon are going to get their hopes up. They're going to have a bit of confidence to maybe nick something.
Absolutely. And you talked about sort of opportunities there. You know, do you think this is a huge chance for Arteta to, you know, look to really, I guess, put Wimbledon to the sword tonight? Because as you said, that win against West Brom was so important in boosting confidence and I guess changing the atmosphere at Arsenal that, you know, another big win like that could be absolutely massive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got Spurs this weekend, so, you know, if we lose, the confidence heading into that is going to be pretty low. But if we pick up a pretty big win tonight, it's going to boost the confidence around the whole squad, because, as I said, we're going to have probably a few changes. So hopefully a few of them will come in and give Arteta a bit of a selection headache.
Brilliant. And I guess looking at the Wimbledon squad, Matt, are there any players in there that you're particularly concerned about, or is it really just, you know, the confidence with which they're playing at the moment and the amount of chances they've been creating at League One level?
You know, the thing that sort of scared me a bit at the start when Chris said that Wimbledon have been quite good from set pieces, that really worries me. Arsenal haven't been particularly good defensively, and especially when it comes to sort of winning physical and aerial battles. You know, I doubt Ben White will play today, but he's been somebody that's been criticised for his ability in the air. And then you've got the likes of Rob Holding that may play today. He's also been caught out in the air sort of over the last 12 months. So that's if Wimbledon can work those kind of situations, then I think Arsenal could be in a little bit of trouble.
Brilliant. Well, next we'll move on to your guys' sort of predictions and expectations. Chris, from your perspective then, you know, who do you see I guess, being the key players for Wimbledon tonight. I guess it's based slightly on who's named in that 11, but are there any players that you'd pick out that Arsenal fans should be particularly wary of?
I'd definitely pick out Ayoub Assal. Been one of our standout performers so far this season. Obviously came into the team second half of last season, burst onto the scene from the academy system. Player Robbo knows really well. And I just love everything about him. The ability that he has to manipulate the ball and pop up in the half spaces. I think he's a player that Arsenal will struggle to mark if we can get the ball to him enough. And then also Anthony Hartigan, he's been in fine form since he came back from Newport County on loan. If he can pick up the ball in the areas that he does inside his own half and spread the ball out wide quickly, then we can cause problems and stretch that Arsenal back line. So, yeah, I'd definitely say those two are two to look out for. And then just one more, I'll go for Will Nightingale. 4 goals in 8 games from centre-back. So he'll be the obvious threat at set pieces. So that's definitely one that, the likes of Leno, maybe Chambers or Holding will have to look out for tonight.
Matt, Chris touched on it there a bit, but obviously Aaron Ramsdale sort of seems to have won the goalkeeper battle at the moment. Do you expect to see Leno in goal to give him a chance to respond? And do you think that Arteta's close to making that decision already?
Yeah, I think it'll be a shame, if Ramsdale doesn't play. Obviously, he had that spell at Wimbledon. I think he'd quite like to, meet a few of the old heads that he played with. But I think that Leno will come back in tonight. Arteta's been quite good at, handing players the chance to respond. I think that's one of the good things he has sort of implemented. I think, Arsenal shouldn't struggle defensively tonight. So I think it will be a difficult game for kind of Leno to really stake his claim. But I think the big call, between the two goalkeepers will be who starts this weekend. If it's Ramsdale against Spurs, then I think, it'll be pretty evident that he's become number one, regardless of how Leno performs today, I think.
Brilliant. And Chris, you'll be, I think you're heading to the Emirates later today as a player. I'll be there not as a player, as a fan, sorry. I'll be there in the press box. What are your realistic hopes and expectations? Do you think you guys can get something, or is it more about giving a good account of yourself and making it sort of a memorable evening for those Dons fans?
I think, it's definitely about giving a good account of ourselves because, we obviously believe in our principles and we believe that we can go there and put on a show, if you like. I said in a recent interview that I thought we would lose 2-1. Haven't really changed on that. I'd rather go in with low expectations. But that's not to say I'm going there thinking, we're going to get thrashed because it's Arsenal. Not at all. I think we will give them a good game. I'll still say 2-1 Arsenal at the moment, but I'm quietly confident. The sort of attention that this game's been getting. I think the pressure is definitely more on Arsenal than it is on us.
Brilliant. And what about you, Matt? I mean, I feel like there's no doubt that it's sort of pressure off for Wimbledon and pressure on Arsenal. But how do you see things playing out tonight?
I think it will be a difficult game. I think they'll give us a rough time of it. I do think Arsenal will come through, but I'm not expecting a sort of 5 or 6-0 as we saw for Arsenal in the last round. I think we may just scrape through. It'll be an interesting one. I just hope that come 10 o'clock tonight, Chris isn't in my DMs giving me a load of grief.
I've got absolutely no doubt that if Wimbledon's scrapes through, he will be in your DMs. Yeah. Thank you both, chaps. It's been wonderful to speak to you, and hopefully for everyone watching, we've given sort of a good insight to what's set up to be a really enticing sort of Carabao Cup clash tonight. Thanks for all your comments and questions and your predictions. That's everything from us on Football League World TV.